No. Grapevine.
But is Grapevine in Tarrant County? Darn. Maybe we could gerrymander the line. Good morning. I'm Bill Lynch. I'm a former chairman of the Chamber, and I own Minuteman Press in Fort Worth. And this morning I'm going to talk to you a little about the success that we've had using the Chamber of Commerce to build our business. The second check that I wrote when I bought the company was to the Chamber of Commerce. The first was the other old owner, and the second one was to the Chamber. I joined within the first week, and we've been active members for 11 years. And what I'm going to tell you today are things that I've learned mostly in the last 11 years as a part of this Chamber. Now, why did you join the Chamber? Everybody always says, we'd like these things to be more interactive. This is the interactive part. Why did you join the Chamber? Anyone?
Be more involved in the local community.
Be more involved in the local community. What else? What other reasons?
Somebody told me I should.
Get to know other people in your community that are business owners.
Okay. To get to know other people in the community who are business owners. Any other reasons?
Exposure.
Exposure in the community? Sure.
All of us been a member of the chamber, so.
Well, we're going to talk about four things today. We're going to talk about the value of your chamber membership. We're going to talk about networking not as a social process, but as a business process. We're going to talk about how to work a chamber event, which is something most of us never have thought about. And then I'm going to tell you how you can get a free book on networking. Most of us joined the chamber with the idea that we want to be more involved in the community. And that's a good thing. We can, by banding together as a community organization, we can accomplish things we can't accomplish individually. I don't know if you noticed when we were standing around talking as you were walking in, County Judge Glenn Whitley had just dropped by to say hello. I mean, we have a relationship at the Chamber with every elected official in Tarrant County. So if you want to get to know them, we can help you get to know them. We also have, as a Chamber, opportunities for you to get a return on your investment in the Chamber membership. You're going to have an opportunity to do a ribbon cutting if you haven't already done one. You'll also find that your perception, or the perception of your company in the community, is enhanced by your membership in the Chamber. And then you'll be able to generate customers as a result of your involvement in the Chamber, not just because you put the plaque up, but because you actually get out and get involved in the Chamber. Look at the number of people who showed up at this ribbon cutting. This was a ribbon cutting for an auto care center that happened maybe, 2 months ago? There must be 50 people from the Chamber who showed up to help this person launch his business, very new business in Tarrant County. This is the result of a survey that was done by a market research firm in Atlanta for the Chamber of Commerce. And you can't read that slide, but what it basically says is that once people learn that you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, they're 60 to 70% more likely to think that your business is involved in the community, uses good business practices, is trustworthy. Your Chamber membership adds value to the perception of people in the community. You'll also have sponsorship opportunities, and Mary would love to talk to you about that. The sponsor for this breakfast usually gets to come and spend 5 minutes talking about their business. Today there must be some reason why they weren't able to make it. You'll also have a chance to advertise. We have a newsletter. We also have an annual directory. You can advertise in either of those, and there are other advertising opportunities. But probably the principal thing you're going to get from your membership in the Chamber is an opportunity to network. And I'm going to try and help you figure out how networking can be successful for you. Now, I go around and talk to people about networking, and what I hear frequently is networking doesn't work for me. I went to the Chamber event. I talked to everybody in the room. I got 25 business cards. I came away from it, and I didn't get any business at all. Well, once I dig into it a little more, what I usually find out is that those 25 business cards went back to the office and were put on the desk and never called or followed up on. And you went to the next networking opportunity and collected another 25 business cards and went back and looked at the desk and said, oh, I already have some on the desk. I'll put these in the drawer. I'll put these on the desk. I'm going to get around to calling those people and see if I can't get some business from them. And you go to the next networking event and you come back with another cool pack of business cards, and you go to put them on the desk and you say, oh, got some on the desk. Put these, dang, got some in the drawer. I'll put these in the drawer and I'll get rid of those because I'm probably never going to get around to calling those people. That's not networking. I have a friend who calls that assault by business card. And why does that not work? Why isn't it successful? Well, first of all, you go into a room and the first thing you think of is what's in it for me. I won't ask for people to raise their hands, but I bet at some point in the past you've gone into an event and you've looked around the room and you've said, okay, who in here can buy from me? I'm going to get somebody who can buy from me or can frequent my restaurant, and I'm going to go corner them and talk to them. And that's thinking about it from the wrong standpoint. Ivan Meisner, the founder of Business Networking International, says it's premature solicitation when you ask someone to do business with you before they know you, like you, and trust you. I mean, it's not going to happen. You know, if I'm a financial planner and I walk up to you at an event and I say, hey, I'm Bill, I'm a financial planner, why don't you give me all your money so I can see if you can perhaps get your kids to go to college someday? That's not going to happen. You've got to get to know me before you'll trust me with your business. It's just, that's an extreme example, but it's the same in printing. If you don't know me, like me, and trust me, you're not going to trust me with your printing. So I have to make that transition to get you to want to do business with me. The whole idea is to put the interests of other people first. Now I know that's not intuitive. I mean, most people think, what's in it for me? And we always try and think about opportunities by getting into the customer's head and saying to yourself, how does the customer perceive this? What's in it for them? But in fact, if you put your interests after your customer's interests, you're likely to be more successful. Now, how do we make money in business? Well, we provide something, a product or a service, that's more valuable to the person who receives it than it cost us to make it, or that they pay us for it. So we're adding value to the lives of other people. That's how business works. Networking's the same thing. You have to add value to the lives of other people if you want to be successful. When you see someone at a networking event, your first question should not be, can this person buy from me? And if not, let me get away from them. It should be, what does this person need? And how can I help them get it? What can I do to add value to that person's life? Because if I add value to your life, you're going to want to buy from me, or you're at least going to like me. You may not ever buy from me, but you will be more disposed to buy from me if you think that I have your best interests at heart. If you think that I'm only out for me, then you're less likely to want to do business with me. So what does this person need, and how can I help them get it, is the operative question. Networking is a business process. I mean, how many of you have processes in your business? Oh, most of us. Okay, well, this is the same thing. It has a place where it takes place. It has inputs. It has a processor, you. It has a process, getting people to go from knowing you to liking you to trusting you. And it has outputs. So it is very much like any business process. Now, the Chamber has lots of places where you can network. This breakfast is a great example. How many of you, when you got here this morning, realized this was a networking opportunity? Yeah, absolutely, it is. And we have networking groups. We call them leads groups. We have business after hours once a month. We have networking breakfasts. We have committee meetings where the work of the Chamber gets done. And we also have the annual chili cook-off, which is one of the coolest things we do. It's usually cold, but it's always just at the right time when the weather has started to get horrible. But it's one of the better events we do every year, and it's a great networking opportunity because we fill the Chamber parking lot up with people who are members of the Chamber. And they're all there eating chili and drinking beer. So who are the inputs to your process? Well, every person you meet. Because until you get to know someone, you really don't know what it is they do, what their avocation is. You don't know anything about them. So every person you come in contact with can be an input to your networking process. And when you work a networking event, when you work a Chamber event, there's some things that you should do. How many of you, before you came here this morning, knowing it was a networking event, set a goal? Ooh, nobody. Okay. Anytime you go to a networking event, the first thing you do is set a goal for yourself. I try to set a goal of getting 1 or 2 or 3 people that I don't know and learn enough about them so that I can follow up with them and get them into my process. I don't want 25. I can't process 25. Doesn't make any sense to come home with a pack of business cards and not be able to identify the face with the people whose cards you have in your hand. So I want 1, 2, or 3 depending on the event. Then when you walk into the room, you want to pick the best targets. Now, every person in the room is an opportunity for you to network. So go for the low-hanging fruit, especially if you're not really comfortable being a networker. Go find somebody, well, there'll be a printer there. He'll be standing in the corner with a glass of wine. He will not want to talk to anybody. He came here to network because he knows he's supposed to, but he'd much prefer to be in the back of the plant running a printing press. Trust me, I've been there. He would love for you to come and talk to him. And when you go talk to him, you need to have a conversation in your head already planned out. I usually start the conversation, of course we introduce each other, and then I say, oh, tell me a little about yourself. And the person will start telling you about themselves. They'll tell you about their family, or about their business, or about their avocation. I'll tell you about my political views, my religion, all the things you're not supposed to talk about. And as you listen to that conversation, you don't want to interject yourself. So if the person says, and what do you do? Answer with 1 or 2 words and go back and ask him another question, or her, and make the questions as open-ended as possible. Oh, really? And one of the great conversation extenders is just to say, really, tell me a little more about that. Or, boy, that's interesting. How did you get involved in it? You know, you can keep someone talking for 10 minutes and they will tell you things about themselves that will allow you to follow up with them. So you'll have some knowledge of them. Now, it doesn't really matter if you give them your business card or if you tell them your name. When they turn around, they're going to forget who you were. They could care less. They came here to get somebody to buy from them. The real networkers are the ones who take that business card and before they leave the conversation, they ask this question. So, Kenneth, now that I've gotten to know you a little better, how will I know when someone I'm talking to would be a good person for me to refer to you? If you ask that question, you will set yourself completely apart because it says, I came here to help you. I'm not interested in you buying from me. I'm not going to say, I'm a printer. If you need printing, here's my card, call me. Because Kenneth doesn't know me from Adam. I know more about Kenneth than he knows about me because I've been asking him questions. So as Kenneth answers that question and then he turns around and walks off, I'm going to start to take some notes. Now, if the back of his business card is conducive to note-taking, I'll write 2 or 3 things down on the back of his business card. If not, I always carry 3x5 cards. The fact that your business card is slick on the back and I can't write on it shouldn't stop me from following up with you. So always carry note cards. And then after you've gotten your 2 or 3 people in that situation, so you've got 2 or 3 business cards or 2 or 3 sets of notes on your note cards, then your goal is met. So then you can start to socialize. I'd suggest then you go find someone that you know but hasn't moved to the point where they trust you yet and work on a relationship with them. Continue to develop those relationships because you'll see the same people at all these events. We show up everywhere. And then initial follow-up. I'm not going to run and get them, but I always carry note cards and envelopes in my briefcase. So the first opportunity I'm going to get, I will write down a note card, and it'll say something like, hey, it was great to meet you at the chamber event yesterday, or this morning, or this evening. I'm looking forward to finding the person who meets the criteria in that question I asked you, so someone who would be a good referral for you. And when I do, I will certainly pass them along. Hope to see you again, Bill. I don't put a business card in with it. It's a personal communication. It's not a solicitation. I don't put a brochure in. But my note card does say that I'm a printer, and it does have my address, and it does have my phone number. It has all that information. But I try and make it as personal communication as possible. And that needs to be done right away. When was the last time you got a handwritten physical note from someone that you met at an event? Anybody in the last month? 2 people, 3 people. It's very uncommon. You might get an email. And why should you not send an email? Because that's what everybody else does. How often is the answer buried in the question? You don't want to do what everybody else does. You want to do something completely unique to you so that you set yourself apart from the other people. I mean, you want people to see you as someone special, not just another person they met at an event. So networking, your inputs are strangers and your outputs are fans, people who want you to be successful. The ultimate goal of networking is to develop fans. Fans are people who irrationally want you to win every time. That's the kind of person you want to have as a friend. So what's your networking question? We're back to the interactive part. D,
How can I help you?
how can I help you? That's an abbreviated version of exactly the right question. And always ask that question. What does this person want, and how can I help them get it? Your desired output will be loyal customers. But loyal customers are not the only thing you'll get from a networking event. You'll also get referral resources. We want the golden egg, but referral resources are the geese that lay the golden eggs. People who can constantly be sending people to you who will buy from you because they trust the person who's sending them to you. As Kimberly said, I'll meet with someone if I know someone who knows them. You want mentors. You know, I run into people all the time who are a lot smarter than me, and it's interesting to have an opportunity to pick their brains. And once they get to know you, like you, and trust you, they'll be open with you and give you information and help you be more successful. So mentors are great people to have in your process. And accountability partners. I don't know about you, but I'm perfectly capable of pirouetting out of the way of a difficult challenge if I know I don't have to tell anybody else about it. And when you're in business for yourself or you're a salesperson, it's very easy to say, I'm not going to make that last call. I'm not going to go to that networking event. I'm going to go home, take my shoes off, and watch a football game. And I've done that. But if I have an accountability partner, someone that I've explained my goals and desires to, then I can't as easily just run away from a challenge. You're going to hear a little bit more about networking groups, the leads groups. I won't tell you much about them, but I will say this. When you join a leads group, it is your responsibility to develop relationships with the people in the room. It's not theirs, it's yours. And so you've got to attend all the time. This is not one of those things where you just go when you want to. You make it a business luncheon or a meeting on your calendar, and it's just as valid as a customer meeting. And you won't break it because you know that you're supposed to be there. You need to invite people to come to the leads group, because the more people you get in the leads group, the more leads you'll get. The more people, it grows exponentially. It's not a linear thing. So you get 10 people in the room, you'll get 5 or 6 leads passed a week. You get 40 people in the room, you'll get 60 leads passed a week. So it really does matter how many people there are. And then refer to the people in the group. Don't fall into the temptation to say, you know, I've used Bill as my printer for years, and some new printer joined my leads group. I'm not going to give him a chance. I'm just going to keep giving the job to Bill. That's wrong at every level. If somebody invests their time and energy to join your group and is willing to give you the benefit of their referrals, then you owe it to them to give them referrals, even if it hurts me. You need to be loyal to the people in your leads group. There's some tools that you need to have to do business. Business cards. I always like my business card to be blank on the back so that people can write on it, although I rarely see anybody do it. You need a name tag. It needs to be so that people can see and read your first name from 4 or 5 feet away. The purpose of the name tag is so that when they see your face, they see your name. They start to think they know you. And the first step in this process is they've got to get to know me if I want them to like me and trust me. So wear a name tag, and don't wear a name tag that's so small, that your name is so small that a person has to lean over to read it. I mean, it's a waste of time. They'll know you're a realtor, you work for Keller Williams, that's wonderful, but they won't have a clue who you are. You need open-ended questions. I would suggest you develop a list of 5 or 10 open-ended questions that you use in networking and memorize them so that when you see somebody, you know how to start the conversation. Now keep in mind that your goal in the conversation is to help them. It's not to drag an order out of them. It's not to harass them to do business with you. So you should feel much more comfortable talking to them because you're there to help them. Golly, who wouldn't want to talk to you on that basis? You need 3x5 cards. And note cards and 3x5 cards are the same thing. I need to edit that slide. And then you need items of value because you're going to need a reason to go back and visit people. So hold up one of your notepads. Notepads are a great item of value. People love to have them. You can take them around and give them to people, and it's an excuse to go visit them. You know, I just popped by, thought you might need some scratch pads. Here are a couple. How are things in your world? You know, you're adding value to their lives by giving them scratch pads, and you're also continuing to develop the relationship. Pins, anything that is an item of value. Football schedules. You know, it doesn't have to have much much cash value as long as it shows that you care enough about them to try and be helping them. How many of you know what a Google alert is? 4 or 5. Okay, mostly the young people. I was at a networking event one evening, and 2 guys that I was listening to were talking about sporting clays. Now, I have no clue what a sporting clay is. I finally learned that it has something to do with shotguns. But I went back to the office and I set a Google alert for sporting clays. The next day I had 6 or 7 articles on sporting clays that popped up in my Google, and I was able to send them to them, and it showed them that I paid attention to what they were talking about and that I cared enough to give them something of value as a result of our conversation. So if you don't know how to use Google Alerts, go to Google, and on the search line just write Google Alerts, and it'll tell you how to do it. Your email signature should be like your business card. It should have your picture on it. It should be something that, yes, your picture. Everybody needs to know that when they see your face, they see your name. When they see your name, they see your face. They've always got to be together. And why is that? Interactive part again.
More people will remember your name, your face than your name.
There you go. They have to know you before they can like you. And it's up to you to make it happen. I mean, it's not their responsibility to get to know you, like you, and trust you. It's your job to help them do that. And then social networks. Friend people on Facebook, link with them on LinkedIn. You know, once you've met somebody, those are good additional steps. It probably takes 6 or 7 or 8 touches before someone starts to like you or becomes trusting of you. So use every tool that you've got to develop those relationships. So how do we make money in business?
Self-helping.
That people want.
Provide Yeah. value.
That people want and that add value. There you go. It takes 3 people to get an answer, but that works pretty well.
None of them are Aggies.
Okay. If you'd like to know more, I've written a book on networking. It's got a lot more in it than I've been able to talk about this morning. They only give me 20 minutes and I only have 1 minute and 2 seconds left. But you can get a free copy of my book. In the pile of stuff in front of you should be a commitment sheet. It's got events on it. I didn't pull one to show you, but it's got the events that are upcoming, and it gives you an opportunity to commit to 3 events. If you'll commit to 3 events, Kara's got one. Kara's holding one up in the back. Second page in the packet. There you go. If you will commit to 3 events and turn that in to one of the staff members before you leave today, I will send you a PDF copy of my book free. So you'll have an opportunity to read a whole lot more about networking than I've been able to talk about. Why don't people do what we've talked about this morning?
People hate rejection.
Well, yeah, people hate rejection, but they wouldn't be rejected if they were trying to help other people.
Absolutely.
Working chamber events is hard. I mean, it's really hard. I hate it. It's hard. Yeah, that was my timer going off. I don't have time to do this stuff. I mean, but this stuff is how you grow your business. What do you mean you don't have time to grow your business? And I have a business to run. Well, duh. Developing your business is how you run your business. The chamber membership will only have value if you invest your time, your energy, your money in making it have value. How much will it have? It'll be dependent upon you. Thank you all very much. It's been fun. And now,